actually. We'll start seated. So cross-legged is great. I would suggest maybe putting your cross the natural way and then switch the feet. So you're now across the unnatural way. So it should feel a little funky on your feet. And then we're gonna bring the hands out to the side. So you just need enough space to put your hands maybe 6 inches from either side of your hip. We're gonna start with a couple deep breaths, inhaling the right arm up to the sky. And then on the exhale, bending over to the left so that you're bending on the left side, getting a nice stretch through the right side. And you can bend that left elbow, eyes go up to the sky. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then on the inhale, come up nice and tall, straight spine. Exhale, release that hand. And then the other side, inhale, lift the left arm up. Bend to the side, exhale. Take another breath in here. On the exhale, get a little bit deeper into the stretch. And now we're gonna move with it. Inhale, arm goes up. Exhale, switch sides, bend right into that left elbow, right arm stretches. Inhale, come up tall, and then exhale, switch sides. So now just breathe on your own. Inhale brings you up tall. Exhale brings you into that side bend stretch. And if you're feeling like you want to hang out in a side bend a little bit longer than a breath, you can go for it. And that goes for any pose we do today, any stretch we're in. If it feels better to stay longer or it feels better to move a little bit, that is a-okay. You can do whatever feels nice. Oftentimes, I think when we are running, cycling super tight through the hips, it can be a little uncomfortable to stay still in a posture. So I'll invite a few micro movements in and you can do the same today. Get one more in each side, or if you forget what side was first, just do one more. And then inhale, come up tall. So your side should feel really nice and stretched now. Bring the elbows up, so cactus arms. Take an inhale here, stretch the arms up. On the exhale, bring the elbows down and slightly behind you. So the shoulder blades are kissing together. The elbows want to go down towards your hips. Take a deep breath in, open the chest. See if you can pull the arms a little bit further back. And then on the exhale, push both hands forward, round the spine, tuck the chin. So you're getting a nice stretch through the spine, a nice cat pose. Inhale, open the arms, cactus arms again. Good, and then exhale, stretch forward. So now we're just moving through some cat-cows from a seated position. Inhale, open up. Try to pull those elbows as far back as they'll go. Kiss the shoulder blades. Exhale, round. 2 more like that. Inhale, open up. Exhale, stretch. 1 more time. Inhale, open up. Lift the heart, pull the elbows back. Exhale, round. Nice. Inhale, open up. Take those arms overhead again. Turn the thumbs back, pinkies forward, so palms towards one another. And then start to fold forward. You're going to lose my hands, but they're just coming out in front of me. Crawl the hands forward. I'll turn to the side. Fingertips on the mat, relax your head down. So this could be quite intense through your hip, especially if you've been sitting for a lot of the day or you're a little cold. Relax the head. The head does not have to go on the mat. The arms are just stretching forward. You're getting this nice stretch through the spine. The sides of your body are already nice and stretched. And some of you might not feel this in your upper body at all. It's just the hips, the glutes, maybe some tightness around the knees, the muscles around the knees. Take 1 more deep breath. And then come on up. Okay, now the good part, you can switch your legs. So back to your more comfortable cross-legged position. Bring the arms up. We're going to do the same fold just because one hip got a little bit of a deeper stretch than the other. Bring those hands forward. Try to relax the toes. head down. A couple deep breaths here. And then go ahead, crawl it back up. Shake out the shoulders, maybe a couple twists through the spine. We're gonna make our way into a tabletop position, so take your time getting there. Swing the legs around. I'm actually gonna go this way. Knees underneath your hips, fingers spread wide. Press down into the ground, down into the mat. And you've got a nice straight back. So that nice strong tabletop position.
I'm not laughing at you. I have a cat that is doing it with me.
Nice long neck. She just heard that we were doing cats.
Yeah, she's come and checked on us a few times. But she's just like, why are you on the floor here?
I need to participate.
Yeah.
I always shut out of the room because he appears over. Drop the belly, lift the face forward, lift the tailbone up and just stay here. So the hands pressing down, I want you to try to lift out of your shoulders. As long as you press the hands down into the mat, you'll be able to lift out of the shoulders, face forward, got that nice stretch through the heart space. That dip in the back, stretching out through the spine, the core. Exhale, round, come into that cat pose, really tucking the chin. So bringing the chin as close to the chest as you can get it. That stretch through the back of the neck. And if anyone replaying the video is doing this in the morning, be a little bit more gentle with your neck. Coming straight off of your pillow. Take one more deep breath in, drop the belly, face forward. And then final exhale, round back into that cat pose. Come into a neutral spine. We already did a good amount of cat and cows, but it's always nice to get them here too. Reach the hands forward a few inches, tuck the toes under, make your way into your downward facing dog. Another stretch that you want to feel really good, but oftentimes when our hamstrings are tight, our shoulders are tight, this is a difficult pose to get into, but there's a few ways to make it easier. Feet hips width distance apart, knees bend so they're soft. You've got a couple inches bent. And then it's gonna bring a little bit of relief in through the hamstring so you can lift the tailbone up higher. The heels do not need to be on the ground. Mine are a couple inches lifted right now, where my body is today. Fingers are spread wide. You've got your fingertips pressing into the mat, your entire palm pressing into the mat. And your head is relaxed. So in a perfect world, this would be a nice inverted V, but for a lot of us, that's just not reality. So knees bent. You want to try to create that space in your low back. So trying to create space through the entire spine, but right now I want you to zone in on the low back, trying to extend the tailbone up towards where the ceiling and the wall meet behind you. So that crease up there, that's where your tailbone is heading. The more you bend your knees, the more space you're going to be able to create there. And the more stretch you might get through your shoulders. So just take another deep breath in here. Exhale, see if you can soften some areas that feel tight and tense. Couple more breaths. Every exhale is all about softening. So softening wherever you can.
Peter.
Take one more breath in. Exhale. Drop the knees to the earth. We're going to move through tabletop and then back to downward dog. So shoulders under, right over the wrists, knees underneath the hips, the toes stay tucked. Come into that cow pose, face forward, tailbone lifts. And then on the exhale, you're going to engage your core. come up to downward facing dog. So we don't move into that cat position, we don't round the spine, but we're gonna make this as fluid as possible. Inhale, come down, tap the knees on the mat, don't rest completely. Exhale, up to downward facing dog. Inhale, drop the knees to tap, try to come into that nice straight spine, and then exhale, downward facing dog. So it's like a little bear position where the knees aren't rested on the ground fully. And then right up to downward dog, and rocking like this is gonna give you a little bit more space. It's gonna start to create more space throughout the spine, the torso. And for me, it's really helping me press the heels down towards the mat a bit more just by moving the muscles, getting them warm. Do a couple more. We do not need to be in sync with one another, but try to think of that inhale as you drop, exhale as you come to down dog. And using the core to move through it. Next time you tap the knees, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Big toes touch together, knees come out a little bit wider to the edges of your mat maybe, and then sink back into child's pose. If that was a lot on your wrists, I want you to just wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists around a bit. Relax the head and the neck. And if you can, and once your wrists and your fingers feel okay, rest the forearms on the mat completely. And then take those deep breaths into the sides of your bodies. We started class by creating a lot of space through the sides of the bodies, through the ribs. And so you've got a lot of space to breathe into. Take one more big breath here, in through the nose, maybe out the mouth. And then start to walk yourself up to a seated position. Bring the knees together. Just for a moment here, the hands are going to come behind you. Fingertips face the back of your mat. You're just gonna lift the knees up off the ground. So you're getting a stretch through the tops of your feet. Some of you might not even have to lift your knees off the ground. Just leaning back is going to stretch the feet. But if you need more, just feet off or knees off. Eyes forward, try to have a nice neutral neck. Release your jaw. No clenching the teeth. And start to walk forward. We're gonna make our way back into downward facing dog. So spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes, make your way into that inverted V shape. Moving into some hip stretches, but first, just a couple of sun salutations. Take these at your own speed, and if you'd rather not do any for whatever reason, you can just hang out here. Build some heat in your downward dog by pedaling out the feet or lifting and lowering the heels, whatever feels good. If you're coming with me on the sun salutation journey, you're gonna lift your heels up off of the mat, bend the knees and look up between your hands. So you've got lots of length through the spine. It's like you're gonna spring forward. You're gonna take 2 big steps up to the front of your mat.
Oh, Juniper. Oh, sorry.
And then take a deep breath in, flat back. The hands come right underneath the kneecaps. The crown of the head goes forward, the hips go back. Take another deep breath in here. And then exhale, fold forward. You can keep the knees nice and soft. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. You'll lose my hands and maybe my head. And then exhale, fold forward again. So just one big stretch up. Inhale, flat back. Now hardest part, bend the knees, but keep your back as flat as possible. Hands on the ground, step back, high plank. So plank, just on your hands, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, drop the knees to the earth, lower your chest to the earth, butt can stay up in the air. And then inhale, crawl forward into your cobra pose. Legs can stay rested. And then exhale over the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. A little bit more fluid for the second round. And then we get into those hip stretches I was talking about. Lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward, walk to your hands. Inhale, take a flat back, lift up, and then fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky, stand tall. Exhale, fold forward again. Flat back, breathe in, lengthen the spine as much as possible. Keep it flat as you step back, high plank. Take a breath in here, get nice and strong, hug the muscles to the bones, and then drop the knees, lower the chest. Inhale, come forward to cobra, so arms straightened, belly stretches. And then exhale over the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. A couple breaths here. That is as energetic as we will get in this class. The rest of class is going to be pretty grounded. If during any transitions where we're hanging out in child's pose or downward dog, you want to get a sun salutation in, instead, you can do that. Soften the knees, look forward towards the hands, step the right foot outside of the right hand. So coming into a really wide lunge position. So the hands stay under the shoulders. I'm gonna come up onto my fingertips or finger pads, kind of like a little bit of extra height for myself because my hips are tight. You're gonna keep that right foot flat, drop the back knee, untuck the toes. If you feel a little unstable in this lunge position, keep the back toes tucked. That will just help keep some of the muscles engaged and keep you sturdy, firm on the ground. All right, and this is one of those places where it can be pretty intense if your hips are super tight. So one way we can add a little bit of movement is drawing a circle with our right hip. So very, very subtle. So I'm not really bending into my knee too much more, but a little clockwise circle just to move things around. If drawing a circle with the hips is not a good visual cue for you, you can think about drawing a small circle with your shin bone, with your knee. We're just going a little circle around and go the other way. And breathe with it. Don't hold your breath. Definitely do not hold your breath. Find some stillness now. Flat left hand. Reach the right arm up to the sky. As high as it will go. Try to stack shoulder over shoulder, arm over arm. And then turn your face up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bend the elbow, hand behind your head. Okay, so inhale here, lift the elbow, open the chest. Exhale, come down, bring that elbow to your right ankle, inside of the ankle. Inhale, elbow comes up. Exhale, elbow comes down inside the right ankle. Couple more, inhale up. Exhale down. Awesome, twist through the spine, inhale up. Another reason why we created that length first, exhale down. On this next one, inhale up, reach the arms to the sky. The way we came into it is the way we come out. Bring that hand down to the earth. Tuck the back toes. If they were untucked, lift the knee off of the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. And it doesn't have to be graceful, just make your way back there. Reset, notice any imbalances you feel now. One side should feel a little bit different than the other. Take a deep breath in. Out the mouth, exhale. Soften the knees. Look forward. Left foot outside left hand. Right, so already you'll probably notice a little bit of difference between one side and the other. I'm again gonna stay more up on my fingertips just because I need the extra space. I'm also gonna drop my back knee down and untuck the toes, but you do what felt right on the other side. And in a pose like this where we can be quite imbalanced in how it feels, the thing we're working towards is not symmetry of how it looks. We're going for symmetry of sensation. So we want the sensation to be about the same on each side, and that might mean they look physically different, and that is okay. We're working towards, physical balance and symmetry, but it might not be a reality in your hips at this exact moment. So sensation first. It's like doing a workout by feel instead of, watching your watch. You hip circles in one direction if that felt good on the other side. Try to keep it small, really subtle movement. And then other way. I'm just realizing, I don't know if we ever put how long class was gonna be on the Strava event.
I don't think so.
So you're just in it, what if it was like 90 minutes and you prepared?
Oh,
We're
let's
going
slow it back away.
45 minutes, it was my plan. 45 minutes, that's what we're in for. If you haven't switched directions, go the other way. Or maybe find some stillness. For me, the sensation is building quite a bit in my quad and my hip, I think from, doing the circles. So I want you to try to find the position where you can relax those muscles the most. So I'm gonna find some stillness. I'm gonna tuck my back toes just to feel extra supported. Right hand is flat, or right hand flat, left arm goes up. So we've got that nice twist. Arm over arm, shoulder in line with shoulder, trying to turn our heart space towards the left wall. So the more you press down into that hand, kind of like we were doing in our tabletop position, the more you're gonna be able to lift out of the right shoulder and twist through the spine. So you've gotta create space in order to move your body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the elbow, hand behind the head. Take another deep breath in here, look up. And then exhale, elbow comes inside that left ankle. Inhale, it goes up. Exhale, it comes down. 3 more like that. The last one. Next time you're up, open up all the way, arm goes to the sky, and then that hand comes down to the earth. Try to square the shoulders, tuck the back toes if they're not, Lift that right knee off of the mat, step back, downward facing dog. All right, now from here, pedal out the feet. So bend one knee and then bend the other. Keep your fingers spread wide, press down into the whole hand, lifting out of the shoulders. Just a few more here. Backs of our legs, a really neglected area. Stretching through the soleus, stretching through the hamstring. Take one more breath in. Exhale, drop the knees down to the earth. And sit back on the heels just for a moment. Shake out the wrists. Some circles. Sometimes I just like to toss the hands a little bit. Let them just be loose and free. And before we go into a quad stretch, we're gonna go into toes pose. Tuck the toes underneath. And then this can be super, super intense for a lot of us. So me, very much so. It's definitely a really intense stretch for me. So toes are tucked. You might stay right here. Your butt doesn't touch your heels. Your hands stay underneath your shoulders and you just breathe through that stretch. The goal is to get the hands on the thighs and the butt on the heels. The more pressure you put on the toes, the more intense the stretch is going to be. It's going to be a little tingling, stretching sensation going on. You want to try to make sure the toes are spread as much as they can spread. You can rest your hands on your thighs if that is better for you. You can turn the palms up, close the eyes, and just meditate through it. Just take a few deep breaths. We're only here for 2 more. Deep breath into the nose. Exhale. Final breath, take it. Inhale. Do not run out of this stretch. Exhale. We go out slowly. Bring the hands forward. Start to ease pressure off the feet. Lift the feet up off of the mat. And then slowly tap on the ground. So then eventually you'll be able to wiggle your toes and everything will be fine. And we're gonna just do that counter stretch that we've already done. So tops of the feet down, sit back. You can just hang here. If the sensation is still pretty intense through your feet, your toes just stay right here. If you're ready to get into that counter stretch, just lean back, lift the knees off the mat. Ooh. Take care of your feet. Good stretches to do all the time. There was a time in my past life where I could do that for minutes. Now I can barely do it for 30 seconds, but all stuff to work on. All right, back into a tabletop position. We're gonna do a quad stretch and then we're gonna get down on our backs. If you are someone who cannot lie on your back because you have a baby on board or for some other reason, I'll have an alternative for you, so do not worry. Step the right foot outside of the right hand again, but now we're in a tabletop position, so this shouldn't be an intense hip stretch. Bring the hands up onto the knees. Now we're in a kneeling position. It's a little dark in here, but your back knee can be under the hip, so your left knee can be underneath the hip or slightly back. We're gonna get into a quad stretch. Left hand stays on the right knee. Left knee bends. And if already you're like, oh my goodness, it hurts, I need more cushion, fold the edge of your mat over, give yourself double mat for cushion. Should feel pretty nice. If you can't reach your foot, well, I hope you can, but if you can't, just hold here. Sometimes you really just need to find it, catch it. Once you've got it, there are a few things you can do. You can hang out right here. You're trying to bring the heel of your foot as close to your butt as you can. I like to bring my left hand around to help. One more option to intensify the stretch would be to bring the left hand down on the ground. And we get into a similar twisting position that we did earlier. So turning the heart towards the right, but really using your right arm muscles to pull that heel in. Bending into that right knee is another way to bring more stretch through the quad. All I had to do was move like half an inch forward in my right knee for it to really kick in. You want to try to keep the left hip, left knee, and left ankle all in the same plane, all in the same line. So you don't want your right foot too far to the right where it's creating an angle. Try to pull it in so it's right in line with the knee. And just like our toes pose, we're not gonna run out of this one. You're gonna ease yourself out of it. Just release the foot slowly. And then come back into a tabletop position. Before we go into the other side, hands flat, bring this right knee and just a little bit of a hip rock. So bring the knee forward and back. Not really a donkey kick, just a little bit of mobility, and then lift it up and out to the side, so not a full fire hydrant, but in that direction, in that spirit of fire hydrant. All right, and then rest the right knee on the ground, step that left foot outside the left hand, make your way up into that kneeling position, both hands on the front thigh, left knee over ankle, so you've got room to move forward without the knee coming over the toes, just in case you need to stretch extra. Right hand stays on the knee, left hand catches the right foot. Find your balance. And again, if you need it, fold the mat over, create that extra cushion. Try to relax the toes on both feet. And then build on it, just like you did the other side. So similar idea, we want same sensation, symmetry of sensation instead of symmetry of position. So if you feel like this side is more intense for you for whatever reason, then you can hang out here. If you want to continue to build onto the stretch, right hand comes down, heart turns towards the left. Right, so you're opening through the shoulder, you're pressing down into that right hand, so you're getting a nice lift out of the right shoulder. Pulling that right heel in towards your butt, keeping it in line with the knee, so no internal rotation here or external rotation, everything is just perfectly in line. Take one more breath in. Exhale. And then, just like you came into it, ease out of it. And then bring everything back down, swing that left leg back. And same thing, a few little hip rocks, so knee comes forward and back. And then little baby fire hydrants. Up and out to the side. Okay. All right. From here, we're gonna make our way onto our back. So just sit on your butt, swing your legs around. Knees are gonna be bent and you're gonna lie flat down. If you can't get on your back, you're gonna do all of this from a seated position. We're gonna do a little double pigeon, but for everyone on their backs, feet are gonna be planted. Right ankle comes over left knee. Figure 4, reach the right hand through the legs, grab onto the back of the left leg. If you have a ponytail or a bun or something that is in the way of your head lying flat on the ground, just loosen it, move it out of the way. Let the hair be free for now. Right knee actively moving away from you. Right foot flexed. Okay, so for me, this is totally plenty in my hip and my glute. I don't really need to do too much more, but you can actively pull the left knee closer to you. So use your arm muscles to pull the leg closer. If you want it to be even more intense, you can stretch the left leg straight and grab onto the calf or the ankle. But the minute your low back lifts off the ground, that's the stopping point. We don't want the low back lifting off the ground. And then just breathe. If you are doing double pigeon from a seated position, it's shins stacked, one over the other. The right leg can start on top. And kind of similar to where we started with the legs crossed, crawling the arms forward. Just getting that really nice hip stretch. If you're on your back and you're like, oh, I would rather do double pigeon, go for it. Go for it. Definitely a more intense hip stretch. And everyone on their backs is going to drop that left foot to the ground. You're in double pigeon, stay where you are for a moment. Lift the hips up and over to the right, just an inch or two. And then the whole leg unit stays as is, it just falls over to the left. So the right foot touches the ground, the right knee stays up, and your back stays flat. It's just the legs that fell over. You're gonna get a nice intense stretch through the hip, through the side, body. If it's too intense or you can't get this right foot flat, uncross the legs, just a standard spinal twist. Arms out to the sides or like cactus arms. Eyes on the sky, so spine staying as straight as it can, upper back on the ground. If you're in double pigeon, all you are going to do is lift this right leg up, put it outside the left leg, and a gentle twist if that is something you are able to do right now. Just a gentle twist to the right. So continue to stretch that glute, but also give you a tiny spinal twist. All right, and from here, folks in seated twist can hang out and then get into double pigeon on the other side when you're ready. And everyone else, lift this unit off of the ground, come back to your figure 4 with the left foot planted. Reach this right leg up to the sky. And similar to those rocks we did from tabletop, you're just gonna lower the leg and lift it up. So a little bit of core, but also just a good straight stretch on the hip. 3, 2, and last one, leg extends up and bend the knee, place the right foot down, left leg crosses over, figure 4 on the other side. Grab onto the back of the leg, flex the left foot, left knee moves away from you as much as you can get it to, just by using your hip muscles. And same thing goes for the side, trying to intensify the stretch by pulling the right leg closer. Or by straightening the leg, grabbing higher. Whatever intensifies it, but remember that principle of inhaling and then exhaling to soften. So as you soften the areas that are feeling the most strained, you're going to be able to sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. So you inhale, fill up, create some space, exhale, soften. Place that right foot, or no, don't move anything yet. Take one more breath in. And then go ahead, place that right foot on the ground. Now lift the hips up and over to the left an inch or two. And then twist. Let everything fall over to the right. Left foot flat on the ground. Adjust if you need to adjust. Keep the upper back flat on the ground. And if you can't keep the upper back flat on the ground with your legs in this configuration, it just means that something is too tight somewhere. So more important to have the upper back flat on the ground than it is to have your legs like this. So go ahead, untwist, stack them, or do what you need to do to. So stacking also for me actually is tighter because my outer hip is pretty tight. The easiest way for me to keep my upper back flat is to do a single leg twist. So my right leg would be straight and my left leg bent and crossed over. Sorry, I should have mentioned that on the other side. It is not a do or die kind of thing. It's just a nice alignment cue. Upper back flat, getting the twist through the spine, the opening through the hip. If you're in seated pigeon, you're just taking that left foot outside the right knee and twisting to the left gently. Last breath in. And breath out. Everyone bring those legs up. Plant that right foot, extend the left leg up. Hands can be on the belly or by your sides. Lower the leg and lift. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Bend the knee, place the foot on the ground. Bend both knees, hug them in close. If you're in half pigeon, you can, or in double pigeon, you can just cross the legs or hug the knees in from a seated position, whatever works. And then to finish, we're gonna rock and roll up to a seated position to meet anyone who is upright. Grab onto the backs of the legs, all the way up to a seated position, and then rock back. Give yourself a few of these rock and rolls, massaging out the spine. And then you can eventually come up to a seated and come cross-legged. Where we started class, you can go the comfortable, natural way your legs go. Bring the hands to the thighs, palms face up. We're just going to finish class with a few deep breaths in through the nose. Out the mouth if it feels good. Relax the shoulders down, clear all of the air out. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, soften. Last one, inhale. Exhale, soften. Bring those hands to heart center. Thumb knuckle presses against the center of the chest. Drop the chin slightly to extend the back of the neck. And then just bottling up this feeling, enjoying the stillness for the moment. Maybe deciding what you want to take with you off your mat. Or something you'd like to leave behind. And then lift the chin, release the hands.